Okay, so take a look at it a little before and after. On the picture on the left was our before, and the picture on the right's our after. Now, one of the things that's interesting about these pictures is the number one thing we're talking about here is changing the club face.
Right.
When you look at where your hand is, your left hand, the back of your hand's pointing up. Now it's pointing a little bit more in front of you. When we look at those tour players, their left wrist is completely flat, and I would say that they're actually slightly down.
A little bit more. Yeah.
Now, another thing that's interesting about this picture is that the club's more on the inside on the picture on the right. And so you can tell that because the club's coming in from more behind you rather than where it is on the picture on the left. And so remember the first ball that we hit, one of the first things you said to me was that you've changed your stance to hook it a little bit because you swing from the outside. And I think that what was going on is really just swinging in response to the club face getting open. And so you would change your setup a little bit because of the face being open, and it kind of worked a little bit. Now, when we got the club face more closed, immediately the swing went more from the inside. And so if we could get the club face more closed and we could get the path coming more from the inside, we'll never hit a slice again. And we'll also get rid of a lot of those big pulls that go over to the left, which were big flips down at the bottom.
Yeah, that's my miss, is pull to the left.
Pull to the left. And so when we look at what's going on with that pull to the left, one of the things that we were looking at was what's going on at impact. And when you go through impact, there's a lot of release with your hands. When you get a line on the golf ball here, you can see how that shaft is pretty much straight up and down. And as you go through, the butt of the club's very close to your body. Now, these are the parts of the swing that you get a sense of, where you say, hey, I'm releasing the club too much or flipping the club, and I'm out of sync. And so when you look at what we're doing now, because the club face is getting a little bit better, this delivery position's looking great. As we get into impact, the shaft's leaning a little bit more forward. And as we go through impact, the body has to turn a little bit more. And so on both of these swings, we're stopping them when the shaft is level to the ground. Notice how we have more space over here compared to it so close to over here.
Remarkable what a wrist position will do.
Yeah, and so that leads us back to the answer is correct the club face. Get the club to be in a better position so it can be in a more in sync position with your body. And when we're looking at those tour players, the little keys that we have for you are what's going on up at the top of the backswing. That left wrist is flat. And when we look at somebody like Adam Scott, when we look at somebody like Tiger Woods, that's a really good picture for you.
Yep.
And when we look at somebody like Justin Thomas, we look at three different swings, but stuff that they all have the same is that left wrist is very, very flat. And that gives them more control over the club face. The other thing that we have on our side here is you put your hands on the club in a very nice way. And so if we put your hands on the club the same way, we can just change how the wrists bend. And I think that should be a little bit easier to go through than changing the whole grip.
I agree.
So we're on the good side of things. So keep getting that left wrist flatter. Keep trying to get the face more closed. The next piece of the puzzle is, can you make a big full finish? When you go through right now, you're having a lot of finishes that kind of go halfway. As you get more comfortable, we'll go bigger. Once it goes bigger and we're hitting it more solidly, you're allowed to try to put a little bit more speed into it. So keep working at it, and hope to see you again.